Hello and welcome to this week's mini session, which is all about the midlife crisis. Now, I want to start by changing one word in that phrase, and that's the word crisis, because mostly I've found that people in this phase of life aren't really in a crisis. It's more of a transition and a change, and there are there's so much going on that it feels like a crisis, and we call it a crisis, and that makes us panic even more. But if we can relate to this phase of life, which is highly complex and, as I said, abundant with change, as a transition, then it can really soften the experience and give you a bit of a clearer mind state to think about the problems that you're facing. So last week's mini session was about the quarter life crisis, which is more age specific. So generally quarter life crisis happens late 20s, early 30s, as where I feel midlife crisis or transition can happen anywhere from sort of early 40s all the way through to early 60s. So it's more of a phase of life and it's situational. Here are some of the things that can be happening around this time. I think one of the first things that happens is that we get to a certain age and stage and reflect on how we thought we would feel, where we thought we would be. And that triggers a crisis because there's a panic there. I don't have as much money as I thought. My relationship isn't as stable, or I'm not in one, or I've had my second one, or whatever it is. So much judgment about the situation, the life that we're living. And that is where the suffering is. Pain is the challenges of the moment, and the suffering is our judgment of that. So midlife also comes with quite often the squeeze, elderly parents who you're starting to switch roles with, becoming their parent and they're becoming the child. Plus, you may have children at home, still dependents at home. So you've got that, you're really torn between having to care for those two different generations. Within that, you have a primary relationship potentially, and also where do you fit yourself in? So it's a really busy time. Conversely, it can be an empty nest time. And I'm certainly experiencing this at the moment. My daughter's just finished her final year of school, and she has a car and she's never home. And there's a real sense of space and time and sort of aloneness in my house, which is totally new. So that there's a transition with that. I think financial pressures can be felt around this time, looking towards retirement. Have we got enough money? What are we going to do? How are we going to live our life? Lots of balls in the air. And whatever is happening, my strongest encouragement is to be aware of all those things that are happening in your life that you're wanting to get some clarity on, and accept that turbulence. So the wrestling with what's not how you want it to be is where you get suffering from. Or there's one thing I haven't mentioned about midlife, which is huge: age. We're aging, and aches and pains and all sorts of things about our body and our image and how we feel about ourselves physically. So that's always at the forefront as well. Acceptance and compassion, they're the two main practices to help you stay anchored amidst the turbulence of this phase of life. So get clarity on the issues you're facing, create a step-by-step or a signposted plan for yourself as to how you're going to move through these challenges. And number one, prioritize self-care. If there's one thing that I think midlife really should trigger, that is a recalibration and reprioritization, prioritization of self-care. It's absolutely imperative that from here on, you're prioritizing exercise every day, nutritious diet, calming practice, keep your nervous system nice and calm, connecting with values, friends, family, getting a really good balance of that, making sure you're getting sleep and rest, and also having checkups, making sure you're up to date with all the age-related checkups. So that's it for me for today. A mini session about midlife. Love to hear your experiences of it for yourself. And of course, any questions, I'd also love to receive them. See you next time.